Four people with four unique stories on one mission to disassemble corporate brokerage one bad suit and tie at a time. We are the Rebels of Real Estate. Yo, 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 yo.
Hola.
What up?
What's happening, everybody?
¿Cómo estás?
Let's go.
Welcome back.
We here
How's everyone doing?
for another
We're
one.
hanging.
We're hanging. For Adam's benefit, we're at number 5.
Oh, dang. That's a stormy.
Numero 5.
This is our 5th podcast.
Yeah.
We're not doing that.
I
Podcast
just did it.
number
I like
5. Go.
All right. What are we talking about?
So what's coming up? What are you guys looking forward to? Anything good? Anything bad? Vacation? You got some
I'm
vacations
looking forward to
coming up?
vacation.
I am looking forward to vacation.
Where's everyone going on vacation?
I'm going to Disney World this summer.
Is this the first time
Adam's
that-
actually taking a vacation?
I was going to say,
Disney World.
is this the first time the girls are going?
Yes,
No, he's taking
girls.
us. He's taking Rob and I.
I
Yeah.
mean,
I said I'm taking the girls.
We're going. It's going to be so much fun. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
do they know or are you surprising them?
They just learned about it right now.
No.
No, your
No.
actual
Thank
daughters.
you.
You're actually-
Thanks, Daddy.
Yes, they know,
Thanks,
but
Big
then
Daddy.
they forget, right?
Oh,
Like the
okay.
4-year-old, she'll know when we show up. It's
Gotcha.
here and now with them.
Have they ever been there?
The oldest, Cadence, yes. Youngest, no. Well, actually, I lie. We were in Florida when she was 2, but we didn't go to Disney World or any of the parks because it was during COVID, and you had to wear a mask during the whole thing.
Yeah,
It was
awful.
super hot, uncomfortable.
And they only let so many people in.
Yeah, so we weren't doing that with a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old.
Are they still doing the reservations?
They do, which is
It's really nice.
it?
Yeah.
It's really
It makes
nice.
it easier. There's
So
not as many
It's
people.
a big difference.
Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yes, it's a huge. I went both times, like before they did that, and then after.
Huh.
It is a huge difference. So I had gone back in the days when the kids were younger before COVID,
Mhm.
and it was hell.
Yeah.
I mean, it was horrible. There's so many people. The lines were insane. It was crazy. And then did Epcot for Food Festival this past year, in the fall, and there was a limited amount of people going in there, and it was busy, but it wasn't like before busy. So it
Yeah.
does
Okay.
it makes a difference.
Nice.
Sweet.
Corey, where are you going?
We're going to Carolina Beach, North Carolina. Which I've
Family trip.
never gone there.
Oh, this
before.
isn't the same as.
No,
who's
my
Outer
family has a
Banks?
house. It's Outer Banks, but family has a house in Emerald Isle or my grandfather built it 30 years ago or
Yeah.
whatever. So that was where we always went. This year, a friend of mine, Sean, is he's he goes to Carolina Beach, and our kids are dating.
Right.
So we're going the week before,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're staying with them for the next week. So they're getting 2 weeks.
Is that Brendan, right?
That's Brenda.
Shout out to Brendan.
That's Brenda.
That's my dude.
I love Brenda.
I like him a lot.
He's a good kid.
Was he at the bash?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's who
Tall
Corey
guy,
was
right?
dancing.
Yeah, he's that's
No.
all now.
No.
That's Rainey's boyfriend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's not Brennan.
It's not Brendan.
No.
Brendan's the man.
I think I'm friends with Brennan on Facebook.
It's Sean Meyer's son.
Yeah.
Sean
Is that who
Myers,
it is?
yeah,
Oh,
that's his
okay.
son.
Right.
He's a good dude.
He's a good kid.
Yeah, you guys were breaking it down on the dance floor.
He was on my back for half the night. I don't
Yeah.
know why.
He cracks me up. He's funny as hell.
Yeah, he's
Shit.
real quick.
He's
just like his dad. His dad's the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's funny. I like him.
Robert, where are you going on vacation?
I'm doing CMA Fest for the first time
So much fun.
for a few days, and then oddly enough, the timing was not great, so I have to fly home a day early from that, get on the bike, and then we have a 10-hour ride up to Laconia for the 100th anniversary for Laconia Bike Week. So doing a week in Laconia for Bike Week.
Nice.
That'd be pretty badass. I think there's like 20 of us so riding up together. So should be a good time. 100th anniversary.
Sweet.
Sweet.
We're excited.
That'll be fun.
Where are you going, Lisa?
I'm just going to Florida. That's all I do. Go to the house.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, taking the kayaks. Hopefully do some fishing.
Do some yakking.
Some yakking.
Yeah.
Yak.
I mean, it kind of sucks, like, being in Fort Myers. It's hard to take out the boat, right? I mean, you can go out on the boat now, but now everyone's using the same boat ramps, and
You were doing any deep sea yakking?
not deep sea, no. Just go down the river.
You scared or something?
Deep sea and the kayak.
Deep seas on a
Come on,
kayak.
you're not scared of deep sea kayaking? There's a special
That
kind
might
of
get
kayak.
weird.
Sharks.
That might get weird.
That might.
It
Yeah.
sounds
You go
like
out in
an
the golf, though.
SOS
It'd be fun to go out in
situation.
the golf.
They call it deep yak.
What's that, kayaking?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be fun to go. You should
Yeah, like along the
yak across the
shoreline.
Gulf to Mexico.
To Mexico.
You never deep yacked?
Never deep.
Oh man, we do that every time we go to the beach.
I bet you do.
Yakking.
I bet you do.
That's crazy. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm doing. Nothing exciting. You know what else I'm looking forward to?
What's that?
I'm looking forward to our first podcast guest joining us.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's
exciting.
Should we tell him?
I don't know.
Let's-
Do you want
let's
to say
tell
it?
him.
Let's keep it a secret.
Don't
Keep it a secret.
Yeah, we'll keep it a secret.
I have a
That
feeling
means they have
though.
to tune in to find out.
I have a feeling there'll be a lot of poop talk on that one.
Oh,
I'm just
we're gonna have a
saying.
blast.
Yeah.
I think me, Corey, and Jay in the same room is probably.
Oh, you
gonna
just
You
be-
gave it
just
away.
gave it away.
Shit.
What the hell's wrong with you?
My bad.
Gosh.
We can delete that. Chill.
No,
keep it
we're
moving.
not deleting.
No, we're not deleting it because now it's
Jay,
funny.
let's go. Jay, let's go.
All right.
Let's go to
My
the beach.
Funny man Jay.
Yeah.
Fucked it up for everybody. Sorry, Jay. Ruined the surprise.
I do
Alright.
think
I think-
though.
People will be excited to turn in.
I think it'll be good,
Yeah,
and
we
I
should probably
think
tell
Tune in,
people.
turn in.
I think because
Turn
I'm,
in. Turn in the
Just
bed.
turning in.
I'm going to be
Turn
dialing.
down service.
Better
You
than
ever
turning
heard that?
out.
Turning up.
Whatever.
Wow.
I think we should get him a wig though, because I'm dialing into that one. He's
A
going to sit
wig.
in my spot. So
I
let's
like
make
that idea.
him. Let's
Oh.
make him wear the
You
wig.
should stream that one.
I have a
live
few
or
for my other
something.
job. I'll just bring one of those in for
I
him.
have a feeling he's gonna wear special boxers.
Maybe.
I'm hoping he does.
He's gonna wear special boxers
I'm
for
hoping
sure.
he does.
I'm excited,
I can't wait.
and I get to sit right next to him.
I'm hoping for no boxers.
Really excited.
Actually,
I'm ready for you, Jay.
I hope he sings us a song too when he's here.
I'm sure we can. I'm sure
Oh,
we could
we
ask
could
him to
hang
bring.
out.
Yeah.
He can bring the guitar.
Yeah, Jay,
For sure.
you're gonna have to perform Big Guy on the
Yeah,
podcast.
for sure.
Sorry about it.
performance.
That's what we need. The Holtz. We need to get the Holtz here too. Perform on the podcast. That'd be cool.
This is like the Tiny Desk session
Yeah.
on WXPN.
Nice.
I have no idea what that is.
I don't either.
Tiny Desk.
Yeah, I'm not familiar.
Never heard of it.
Let's move on. So we were, I don't remember which podcast this was, but Adam brought up his fearlessness in one of our podcasts. I remember the conversation.
He said fearlessness in the last
He
He
podcast.
said
We
it
were talking
all
about the gray
time.
area.
Yeah. So I feel like it's something we all have. I think running a business, you have to be fearless. So I figured let's spend some time sharing with everyone the madness
Sharing
of
is
being
caring.
fearless.
Yeah, I think you do, because I think you're always
Yeah.
poised with decisions that you have to make that, have a potentially, impactful financial impact on yourself or
Very
your
true.
business.
Yeah.
And you have to take calculator risk.
Calculator risks. Matt, what do we do with that?
You use a calculator.
Is that like a TI-85?
Calculate the
Which kind?
probability of
Hey,
the
mine's
risk
still
Are we using
that
this?
you're going to take.
I still
Let me
might have my
calculate. I'm gonna
TI-85.
calculate
I
that.
think I still have
Do you know what a
Calculate
calculator is?
I don't.
Yeah,
I've never
know.
used one.
I
so-
figured.
Spend money. Hope I make more. Who needs to calculate anything?
We don't calculate nothing.
I ain't calculating nothing over here.
So, all right. So after the calculator risks, what's next? I'm
After
sorry.
much calculation,
Okay.
many nights of no. I just you have to have that sense of being willing to take some of that uncomfortable. People say getting uncomfortable. Being okay with being uncomfortable and taking risks, because that's the only way you're gonna push forward your ideas or vision and dream to do it. Other than not taking any risk at all and just working a 9-to-5 job, and that's just not me. My passion is to move a business forward and the excitement of it, and I think that takes fearlessness.
As long as there's a calculator involved, though.
Yeah,
You have to have
I like the calculator.
But I'm serious. Like you take calculated risks, though. You
I do.
don't take like
Yeah.
you're a
Wild
little.
risk,
It's weird
yeah.
because you're afraid of change, but you're not. It's like strange because like you're
It's true.
fearless to take the steps in business that you need to take, but you're super afraid of change in business
A
too.
little bit, yeah.
It's really strange.
Not a little bit.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
No, a lot of it.
I
Yeah.
love you, but it's a lot of
It's
it.
a
I think
lot.
in my personal life, though, I'm willing to take a lot of risk. Motorcycle.
I would say,
Yeah,
considering
yeah. I agree
you've talked
with
about
that,
jumping
yeah.
off of roofs and pools and stuff
Yeah,
like
def-
that.
you're
yeah.
definitely fearless when it comes to like adrenaline. You're an adrenaline junkie, for sure. You're so night and day when it comes to like
Yeah,
business and
yeah.
personal. It's
I'm a
funny.
little more conservative, I think,
Yeah, for sure.
in ways.
But it's interesting though, because like you were fearless enough to start Iron Valley and do something different, right? So that took a lot of fearlessness. But then like when it comes to changing in the business and doing things, like you're really timid when it comes to that. So it's kind of strange.
You take your time.
Yeah.
I used to laugh working with engineers because they hate change too. Like it's a mentality thing. And I remember saying to one engineer one time, I'm like, your job as an engineer is to change the world.
Yeah.
So how are you afraid of change? And he literally looked at me and he was like, man, I never thought of it that way. I'm like, so stop
That's
fighting
an interesting
me.
perspective.
But that's what you do, right? Your job is to do that. So
That's cool.
what would you say as a kid? What was something you did that was like totally fearless or that you still do today? I mean, we know Adam jumps off of roofs into pools.
Are we going to all talk about the fearlessness, or
Yeah, we can. I don't really care. I didn't know what we were doing.
Just went down to like
Everyone
question
got
number
really
3.
quiet. Corey's like thinking. I don't know.
I'm hardcore thinking about fearlessness because I don't.
Ken can, wipe that part out and we'll go back to it.
You don't have to wipe it out.
I think for me, I've always been fearless in business. I've taken a lot of risks throughout my career, and I think it's because I'm not afraid to hit rock bottom. I think it's like because I've been there. I mean, I've hit rock bottom multiple times in my life, and not because of like drugs and alcohol, like because, a lot of times I made poor decisions in business or whatever it is, and I failed, and then I got back up and I did it again, like I was never afraid to be like, if a new opportunity came around and it looked good, I'd walk through the door and try it out, and sometimes it worked really well, and then other times I just fall flat on my face. So for me, I've always been willing to take risks in business.
When you think about like being at the bottom, and I've heard a lot of entrepreneurs say this when I listen to them, like, was it really that bad when you were at the bottom?
Yeah.
Like, did you still enjoy some of the bottom though? Like when I guess I don't know. For me, it's like you come out of it kind of like you said. I know some of your stories are a little bit deeper than mine, but
I wasn't laughing at that.
I don't know what you two are doing over there. The bottom.
Like in the
Wow.
bottom.
Like in the
Is there
bottom.
anything you liked
We're
about
going
the
back there again.
That's Corey.
Jesus, get
Where
it
do you think
out,
we're
Rob.
gonna
Just
go?
get it
I
out.
didn't say it. That
You
was
don't have to.
Corey.
You need to get it out. Both of you need to get it out.
You can't say stuff like that with these guys and expect
No,
them
I
to.
didn't
I want
say
them to.
anything. Me and
If they
Corey
can't
looked at
handle
each
it.
other and laughed. We just had a moment, and
And
that was
yeah,
it. It could have stayed at that moment.
You had to bring it out.
You brought
You
it.
brought out the bottom, and now here it is. It's,
Jesus
There's
Christ.
always
it's
a
shining
bottom.
in the room.
Now there's
Bottom.
always great things that come from being in the bottom. I want to say it now. There's always good things about like failing, right, and being in a low point in your life. There's
Yeah.
always great things that come out of that because one, lessons for how you got there so you don't come there again. But I think it renews your sense of self-worth or understanding that you can climb out of that. I used to do it on purpose.
Yeah.
And Corey and I talked about this because Corey did the same thing. I used to self-destruct. So it was, and actually for me, it was mental. It was like psychological. So I was killing it. And I was so stuck on the fact that I didn't deserve it. I didn't deserve to be
That's the biggest
where I
Yeah.
was.
And I still feel
That
way
I
sometimes.
would literally self-destruct.
Yeah.
I would ruin it. Like, and it's crazy. And then I would hit the rock bottom again, and I'd be super cool at rock bottom, right? I'd be like, yeah, I love this. Like, I can be grimy again. I can be like, doing stupid stuff or whatever it may be. Not really
The
like
simplicity of
illegal,
it.
but like just like not really caring and having no responsibilities for a little bit. But then that got old like really quick, like 20 days or 30 days, and then I'm like, what was it? What did I do? And I'm like, all right, well, now I got to build it back up again. And that part was fun for me. It was only recently, probably the last 5 or 6 years of my life, that I've realized that I got to stop self-destructing. Corey and I had we had a lot of these conversations early on.
I like to self-destruct, and I still do it. I mean, to this day, I think it comes from feeling like you're not worthy necessarily in your life, or that you don't deserve it.
You're not deserving.
Coming from my past, I think regardless of what I say, it's still in there that, oh, you're a piece of shit, and that's where you stay.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when things are going good, I mean, I can see back in my history, things were going good in my life, and I would sabotage it on purpose, whether it's in relationships or whatever, which sucks. That's a shitty trait, but it's something that I'm learning. I'm learning as I go and grow. Fearlessness for me, I would say, is a being backed into a corner and having no other choice. You know what I mean? And either you fight and you go forward, or you shrivel up and die. So I think a lot of times fearlessness is, I mean, if you think about a soldier going into battle that's on the battlefield and getting shot at, and everybody's like, oh, he's a hero. Really, he's just doing what he needs to do to survive. And for me, that, being when we started this, we were broke. It needed to work. And I was scared to death. I don't think fearless means you're not scared. I think it means you push through it even though you are.
That's a good point. I like that.
Adam still has that check, don't you? His
I-
last $10,000.
I have that in my check registry. Yes, I wrote in there. But did I write you something or an email?
No, you did.
Or what did
I
I do?
have it. I have
That
it.
you
Or was
would
it
give
on
it-
the check?
Yeah.
It was on the check.
I have it
You would
framed
give
in
it
my
back to
office
him.
at home.
Really? That's
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah.
I think we need a copy of it framed somewhere
could do that,
here.
yeah.
That'd be
And what did
fun.
it say that this is Corey's?
If Corey decides to back out before we open the Harrisburg office,
I'll
he
give
gets
him
his 10 grand
his
back.
10 grand back.
I was stressed out about it, man. But anyway,
Oh, crazy. So let's go back to I forget what I asked a minute ago. When, like, stories from your childhood of being fearless, like the things that you would do. Let's take it back all the way there, because
I don't know if it's fearlessness or just dumb. I think a lot of it is being dumb.
There was some of that.
probably a combination.
Combination.
For me, I've always been adrenaline seeking, fearless. Like I said, I think I said on some of the other podcasts, I was always in the emergency room,
Yeah.
from bike accidents, motorcycle accidents. But that to me is what I lived for when I was young, is just getting on a motorcycle, going as fast as I can. I mean, that was fun. Like, I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I think, go ahead, Rob.
I was going to say it, and it's not even, sometimes it's not that you're fearless, it's that you enjoy that moment where you're afraid,
This could go
but
bad.
you don't, you know what I mean? Like,
Oh, absolutely.
that's what it is
Yeah.
for me. Like, when I'm on my bike, like, I'm still like that, right? Like, and I'm not going to say what I do on the bike, right? But, like, let's say you're going really fast or whatever.
On the Harley.
Yeah. All right. Let's say I'm on the Harley and I'm doing 120 down the highway and I'm weaving in and out of traffic. I know I could die. And it's not that I'm not afraid. It's almost that I love that feeling that, like, you're pushing yourself because you feel alive.
Yeah.
Right? Is that like,
Yeah.
like for you, it was like when you're in the plane, you know that some crazy stuff could happen in the plane. And that's what it makes you feel alive. Like, I don't know.
It's a high.
I remember
Yeah.
being a kid, and when you're talking about being a kid, and I think of the fearless things that we used to do, which a lot of it was just stupid, completely stupid. We would jump into a quarry, off of a cliff, over a tree, into an area that was probably 10 feet wide, because there was boulders on either side.
Is that the one in Myerstown?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is Lakeside Quarry. So you'd run,
Oh, yeah.
and I'm running with a rock. You jump, and then you see how long you can hold onto the rock towards the bottom.
Oh my God.
And this thing was probably 100 feet deep. I mean, it's stupid. It was really stupid, but we would do it over and over again. And jumping now, there's no way in hell I would do that. I mean, there's zero way that I would jump over, try to clear
not
those
in a million
trees.
years.
No, there's
I'm not
no
even-
way.
Nope.
You might
We
break
used to go
something.
down to Blue Marsh.
Oh, the,
Oh.
off the bridge.
The
or the
bridge.
the
Yeah.
I never jumped off the bridge, but there was.
off the bridge.
I was younger when I went down there,
I
but
jumped off the bridge.
they had the cliffs on the side, but they had a rope swing. People would tie a rope up to the tree, and dude, you could swing because it was like on an embankment, and you could swing out over 50 feet in the
Smoke
air.
a lot of pot and do that and jump
Okay.
off of that. I
Yeah.
remember
Yeah,
those
I
days.
remember jumping off the bridge. And Raystown Lake has some cool cliff diving too.
I never went there.
Yeah, they have some big high cliffs there.
Well,
but-
that's a deep lake.
yeah,
That lake's kind of scary how deep it
that's
is.
It's
crazy.
scary how big those fish are in there. From
Oh,
what I
there's
heard.
some
The-
big-
They
the
live in those
sturgeon.
houses.
They have some, and they have blue catfish in there, like big catfish in there. Yeah, there's some big,
They're hiding out in all the houses that are underwater.
yeah, big fish. It's crazy.
Like their own tank.
I know. I would love to scuba dive down there. That'd be fun. Something I always wanted to get
I've
into
never
was
done
scuba.
scuba
I haven't
diving.
either. I would love to scuba
Have you
dive.
done it, Corey? Scuba diving?
Never
or-
scoop. No, I never.
Yeah.
That's something my dad does. He's tried to get me to get certified. I never did.
Well, that's what-
I would love to
wouldn't
do
mind
that.
doing it. We should do that.
When you were talking about that quarry, Justin's uncle used to certify people in that quarry.
That's not the quarry I'm talking about.
It's not that one?
So
No, that's
Okay.
Richland Quarry.
Oh,
You're thinking of
okay.
Richland. I used to
Yeah.
party there.
I used to snorkel there all
Okay.
the time. There's some cool stuff there to snorkel.
We used to
see.
party there.
Oh, and
Do you remember
party.
when that was like,
Oh, that was the spot.
man, we used to pull up there. We used to take beer. I was probably 16. We'd have all the doors open and the trunk open in my car, blasting
You
music,
pull all the way down.
playing
to the end.
volleyball,
Yeah, that was
like
fun. There.
drinking all day. Like that was our whole summer.
Tom Morrissey owns all that now.
Now he owns
lives
all of
there.
it. He
Doesn't
lives
let-
there. It's
doesn't
like
let
his
people-
house, which
doesn't
is
let
really
people out
weird.
there.
Yeah, it was like $5 for your carload to get in for the day. You'd go there, you'd play volleyball, you'd hang out with your
I
friends,
don't even
you'd
think I'd
grill.
swim ever. I would just play
Yeah.
volleyball. And
We would
coach.
go in when we were like hot and sandy from the volleyball courts and then like go back out and play again. But yeah, that was a party spot.
That was so much
That's
fun.
funny.
That was a party spot.
What
That's
I'm talking about was called.
Okay.
There's a Mennonite farm. They
Okay.
used to actually dump their dead cows in there. I found out later.
Ew.
They would dump dead cows in the. Kind of disgusting. We were swimming in it all summer.
There was that island
Young
on
and
Shark
dumb.
Week that they do. I forget where they were talking about on Shark Week one time where they take their dead cows and they throw them out in the water and all these sharks come there because they know there's dead cows in the water.
That's
I
a
forget where
great
it
place
is
to
though.
swim.
Yeah, that's great.
Circle of life.
Circle of life. Yeah. Here's some cow. Enjoy.
Wow.
I mean, I figured you guys would have more to talk about with this. This is like a
I
subject.
don't want to
like,
talk about.
I mean, I could.
I have tons of stories.
I have a million.
I don't think mine are podcast appropriate.
Why not?
No.
Are you scared?
No, it's just not podcast appropriate.
Yeah, that's a war story. It could go badly.
I'm gonna digress there.
All right. Well, then, since you don't want to talk about stories, like, how do you get comfortable with fear or feeling fear? What are your strategies? Like, what have you done?
I think it depends on what you're talking about. If it's like from a business standpoint, I'm not afraid to fail.
Yeah.
So I think like I'm okay with failure. Like I think some of that stems from I really don't care what other people think. Like some people say that I really don't give a shit. Like I don't care. It's I am who I am, and you take it or leave it. So I think that I'm okay. I'm comfortable with failing. So if something I try and I
think
do,
you do care though.
I mean, I care like
care.
about some things, right?
Yeah.
It's not that I don't completely care. Like I have a heart, right? I'm not cold, but like if I don't want it to fail, if that makes sense. Like there's a difference between being comfortable failing and not wanting to fail. I obviously don't ever want to fail, but if I fail, I fail. And if it doesn't work out, then I know that something else. I mean, we talk about it. You're the same way, right? Like it's if stuff doesn't work out, I'm a hustler. I'm a natural born, so I'm gonna figure out a way to get back to where I need to be. So, and sometimes that's a downfall. We talk about that because Corey and I talk about that. Sorry, I pointed at him. I know you guys can't see me point, but it's that like knowing that you can dig yourself out of that hole that allows you to get back in that hole for the sake of digging back out of the hole. Which when I say it, I sound ridiculous.
Almost thinks like that we like it though.
Yeah, I like it.
We must like
So
it
it doesn't.
because we keep doing
It's
it.
not exhausting for you though. Like I think for me,
Sometimes.
like I stopped
It's exhausting.
being self-destructive because I got tired of always, and I didn't want to do that over and over.
The
again.
older I get, I think Corey and I just talked about this. Like, it's like the older you get now, it's like, now I'm over it. Now I'm in this part, like, where I'm like, what was I thinking? Like, Adam, for example, we always make fun of Adam because he's super frugal with his money, right? Like, but it's a good thing, right? I think like the older that you get, the more you have to be like that. And financial stability is important. And I think
it's a balance.
It's a balance.
It is balance.
Yeah,
It's
he's a
either-
little bit too frugal,
He's
maybe
too frugal, and maybe
I don't
There's
think
a lot
you
more
are.
extreme. I don't think so.
Lisa's pretty frugal though too.
I'm the same way. Adam and I are pretty similar when it comes to that stuff.
I agree.
Like, and it's more on like, I always joke, Justin and I, when we make big purchases, like it's always like a 4-month debate whether or not we're going to do it because it's like,
I
do you want
think
to spend the
there's
money?
people out there that are way more frugal, and I think it's to their detriment.
Yeah.
Too.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
because you can't be like my mindset's always not necessarily like looking at expense, but not excessing
Yeah.
over expenses. How do we make more money?
Right.
How do we grow our business, or how do we move forward
Yeah.
and make more money? Because revenue solves problems. So some people get into that budgeting mindset and they're focused on cutting expenses, but they're not putting the energy that they should be into growing their business.
Yeah, from a business standpoint, for sure.
But Adam will also invest in risky investments. So
Yeah,
like
I
that's,
will.
so it's like a balancing act.
Yeah.
Like you don't
Yeah.
have fear when it comes
It's
to
where
that.
I guess where you pick and choose to put your money.
Yeah.
You'd rather, instead of buying something you really want, you'd rather and take the risk to invest in and hopefully make
Absolutely.
more.
It's a
yeah.
calculator
Absolutely.
risk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a calculated
Yeah.
risk. Yeah, it's different.
Calculator risk.
But it's not crazy. I know people that will put a lot of money on like stock options or futures and like just crazy bets. Like to me,
Yeah.
that's reckless.
Right.
But investing in an index fund or good companies that you think are undervalued, that's risky, but I don't think that's reckless.
No, I agree.
When you hear the word stock option, you got to hit the air horn. Stock option.
That was
That
not
was
there.
weird.
That was
That was
a
a
train horn.
it was an old.
There it is. There it is, Ken.
There it is.
Thanks. We have to come up with like certain words that trigger things like that. That'd be
Stock
fun.
option.
Futures.
Poop.
Wow.
You're gonna need.
Kinda
You're
weird.
gonna need one for like shit.
Poop. That shit is.
That's
it.
There you
Yeah,
go.
exactly.
All right.
I like Jim Cramer's the buttons, and he's like the House of Pain. He's got like all these buttons. He's got like 50 of them on his show. He's always hitting them.
Was there anything?
I don't watch Jim Cramer.
Whatever.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't actually.
He's entertaining. I
listen to
wouldn't
any
really take
podcast
his
or anything.
advice. Seems like
I
he's.
I like podcasts, but I don't
I don't.
like him.
Not that I don't like. I don't dislike them. I just have never really got into them. I don't know. I know most people listen to them in their car, and I'm odd, and I like to sit in silence in my car a lot of times because I'm actually.
That's super weird, dude.
Well,
There's
you know,
there's,
First of
when
all,
your
he's on
mind
the
is-
phone 90% of the
I
time. He's in the
understand
car.
that. I
it's all the
understand
issues that I'm dealing with on a daily basis. Like I'm constantly dealing with the issues. So it's like, oh my God, nobody's calling me with an issue right now. I just want it like peace and quiet. I never get that. So
Is there anything you're afraid of?
death.
I'm not scared of death at all, but
I'm
I'm
not,
scared
yeah.
of what I'm most scared of is not being around for my kid to watch my kids
Right.
grow
Yeah.
up. Like that's the only fear that
That's what it is for me
I
too.
don't want to say the only fear I have, but that's the only like. I'm not,
I think I'm obsessed with legacy planning.
You
Like
probably-
You think?
estate, my wife's like, man, you're like getting ready to go here. Like when I was doing my estate and my life insurance, because I do like that's just the the responsibility nature of myself
Yeah.
for my kids is to make sure if I'm not around,
They're
you
good.
know, they're going to be good. No
Listen.
knock on my wife, but she's not the greatest at money management, so I set everything up for her.
in trouble.
Yeah,
Oh.
she
in
ain't gonna listen to this.
Wow.
I'm gonna send it to her. I'm sending it to her.
Just that
Shout
extra-
out.
Just
She,
that part.
she knows it. Like she'll
She
admit
admits
it.
it,
She knows
yeah.
it.
That's
so
funny.
I always laugh
What's
because
her number again?
Justin and I did the same thing when we
Yeah.
were really young. We had our wills drafted and did all that estate planning, and everyone, like, we had family members that were like, aunts and uncles that were like, oh, I never did that. I'm like, well, I want to know where my kid's going
Yeah.
if something happens to us. And I'm like, in Pennsylvania, even if you have it in a will that your kid's going to so-and-so, you still have to get it approved by a judge. So if you have nothing, you're totally screwed because it automatically goes to the courts anyway. So I get it. I get
Yeah, what
having to
probate,
prepare.
in all the business, you want to make sure
Yeah.
that things don't miss a beat for
Right.
everybody else that's
Yeah.
involved.
Yeah.
So
I know I need to do that. Slacking.
Did you ever get any good advice on taking risks from anybody?
Not that I know of.
Not just like do it, rip the Band-Aid. Don't be
I
scared.
think a lot of people around me were more of the adage: get a job and go. Don't take risk. Live in a comfortable, safe. Well, this is what you're making, and you build your life around that job or whatever it is. All of my family members, all of them said I was an idiot for doing this. So, just to start.
I think.
help start
I
the
mean, I think
business.
that's natural, though. I think
They want to make sure
people
you're okay.
like to know what they're
Stability.
getting in life or what they're going to do in life, and it's comfortable. And that's kind of what I heard. But believe it or not, my grandpa he passed away right before I opened my first office in Lebanon.
Did he have stock options?
Probably. He did real well.
Dude,
He did real well. He worked for the county, like 30 plus years. He was a county administrator in the courthouse and super conservative, guy, like very safe with his investments. But, he had 4 daughters, and he had to provide, and my grandma, his wife, was stay at home, didn't have any real formal education, and he provided for everybody, the whole family. So he had to be very safe and calculated in what he did. So, everybody had what they needed. And, he was always kind of against, because I've always been, wanting to start a business or right out of high school working, on my own, as an independent contractor and stuff, and always very reserved, like go to college or get a job, or whatever. And when I told him about the idea of opening the first office in Lebanon, signing a lease, I didn't have any agents at that time. And I, kind of broke down what I was going to do and explained it to him.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I think that's a great idea.
Nice.
Like, is one of the only times I've ever heard him, when people came to him and got his opinion on things that might have involved risk, it was always stay safe, play safe.
Yeah.
And that time was different.
Yeah.
He thought it was a great idea.
Yeah.
So
That's
he didn't.
huge.
He wasn't around when we opened, but he knew that it was coming. So
That's cool.
It was cool.
that's awesome.
Everyone's allergies are killing them.
My allergies are nuts.
So bad.
My father-in-law he's always worked a job. I mean, hardworking guy. I'm not knocking him at all for that. He's always shown up for work. He's saves his money for the most part. He was like, that's a terrible, it's a terrible idea. You guys are whatever. There's a lot of brokerages. There's whatever. And I'm like, well, I'm going to do it. And I think the reason for me is I didn't have another option. I'll be honest. I mean, this was to me was a great idea, and it was a great. I don't know if I'm even answering if there was a question.
It's okay.
I'm just talking, but
That's what we do.
we do that a lot. That's what this is about, I guess. No, but we took the risk, and it ended up working out. And from him, he's probably never going to listen to this, but he does. He's kind of salty You know, and every time we're together, if there's ever alcohol involved and we're sitting around a fire, he always brings up the fact that he never took risks in his life. He's always like, I wish I could have done that. I wish I would have been able to do that, but he was scared to do that. And I think at the end of the day, if you don't make those decisions and try to step out of that, you're going to be miserable at one point in your life because you're going to regret the regrets. Yeah, you're going to actually, you know, that used to be tattooed right here.
And it doesn't have to be
Regret.
going out and starting your own company or a business. It can be just pushing yourself to better, you know, to get it more education in the line of work that you're in and career and move up in that spot, you know, working for somebody else too. You know, it's just to constantly push yourself to be a lifelong learner and better, you know, where you're at.
It's okay
Stock
if
option.
you don't though. Like, so that's one of the things that I talk about too sometimes. And I
Stock
sometimes,
option. Thank you.
Sometimes I just wish that, I mean, sometimes I honestly wish that I was somebody comfortable with being comfortable. Like, and it's not a bad thing. Like, I know people that, like, everybody talks
being
about
content.
happiness or I'm not content ever. Like, that's not a good thing. Like, I know people that, you know, they're perfectly content with their life, making a decent salary, paying their bills, being comfortable, enjoying their life. Like, that's not a bad, like, if you don't want to strive for more money or a bigger position, who cares? Like, if you're happy, it's really about what makes you happy. Right? Like, and I wish sometimes that would make me, it doesn't make me happy though. Right. So that's me personally. It doesn't make me happy.
For me, it was always about the stuff. The stuff would make you happy, you know, and that realization has hit me that none of it doesn't make you happy.
Yeah. Me, it's sorry. Go ahead.
No, I interrupted you.
No, you're good. Do you think, big guy?
I think I've told this story before, but being I had a sales manager that would always say to me, you just need to be content. You need to be content making $60,000 a year, you know, and I was never content, you know, and I did a post maybe a year or so ago about, you know, I'm still not content and I'm making a whole lot more money than I was. So I don't know that I think that's something I'll ever be, is content.
I'm the same way. And the funnier part was when I worked in my last company, I literally had somebody tell me that I didn't need to work so hard. And I'm like, then I'm in the wrong place, because to me, you need to work hard.
Yeah.
If you want to, you know, be successful.
But it's whatever works for you.
Yeah.
Like, well, I think all of us, and I think I can speak for all of us at the table, we are like that. We're never really content, because I've been that way all my life. And what makes me fulfilled and happy is the pursuit, right?
It's the
Is
pursuit.
the continued pursuit.
The chase.
Yeah.
Yep. But I do, and Rob, I'll go back to what you said. I do say that to a lot of times to people, is sometimes I wish that I had that contentness, that calmness, and be, you know, content, you know, with not having to always chase or pursue. You know, there's definitely a lot of, you know, value in that.
Yeah, people that know me like close, like my boy Jeremy says it all the time. He's like, bro, I know you. You're never happy. Like, you're always having to go. Like, it's always like more. And it's not like more money or more things like more material things. It's just more of everything, like more of life. Like I'm like so busy, like the LLS thing that I got into, I'm probably way too busy to get into that, but I felt like, okay, I need to do this. Like, let's do it. Like, it's, I don't know. And sometimes you stretch yourself then and you get involved in too much stuff, but it's like this desire to do more of everything. It's horrible.
Well, to me, it sticks to like my purpose.
Yeah.
Like, what is my purpose? And I guess me just sitting around, you know, being comfortable is not my purpose.
Touching people.
For me, purpose isn't
Touching lives.
Shut up. Oh, God.
I also
Reaching
don't
out,
find my identity in this.
Touching you,
No.
That's exactly
You know what I
what I was thinking.
touching me,
Touching me. I don't find my purpose in working.
sweet
Caroline.
Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah.
All right.
So I don't even know
Breaking
what I
out
was
the
saying.
song.
You were talking about.
I don't touch my purpose. I touch my purpose sometime, but
Wow.
This is not your purpose.
I don't want to say this. I don't think that this is my purpose. And I think for a while you find yourself it becomes who you are. What you're doing, it becomes who you are. But for me, it's more about I think my family at the end of the day should be my focus more than anything else.
But this is part of it, though.
Well, it all goes together. Yeah, it does. It all goes together. I wouldn't be able to provide the life.
And you're setting an example for your
Exactly.
kids too, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
because that's something I didn't have that, right? I didn't have it. You know, shout out to the non-family that I have. I have no family really, right? So there was nobody that I could look at like that. Nobody fucking owned a business, or nobody even had a great job. Not that they didn't have a great job. I'm not trying to put anybody down in my family. Not like they're ever going to listen to this, and I don't really have any of them. So, but nobody in my family like had some incredible career or owned a business or did. So I never had any of that to look at. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, my mom did what she needed to do to get by, and I commend her for that. It was crazy, and she's, you know, she lived a crazy life, and but it's interesting because it's like, I'm glad that to me is what I brought to my kids, is they could see that, right? That I never had that. And I think part of that is why I was like the way I was, like never being happy or whatever. It was like, okay, I need more. I need to show my kids that I'm better than that, right? Or something. So it is, you're right. It's like, it kind of all connects in a weird way. Like, you know, like we almost, I think, it just made me think of that, because I'm like, I never really think about that, but like, you work hard and you're like, oh, I'm not dedicating enough time to my family. But the fact that you're dedicated to work and doing this and is doing something for your family, because your kids are getting to look at you pursuing a dream and you changing your life and you being wildly successful at something that was really hard to do. So, you know, you're giving your kids something more to strive for. Sure. So that is kind of like, you know, and that's just a different way to look at it.
Yeah.
Well, and I came from a much older family. And my mom was a stay-at-home mom when my dad was still alive, so I never saw that. And the people who I saw as successful were mostly men. I had an uncle that was the CFO of John's Mansville, like years ago. My other uncle, he owned a liquor store in Hyannis, Massachusetts. These were all people that were successful in their business, but they were all men. The only female I ever can say that I honestly could look up to is my grandmother. And she was the first female police officer in Chatham, Massachusetts back in the day.
Oh, shit.
And I laugh about it. Like, I never really put this together. So she went by Jake. Her real name is Jakewith, but she went by Jake. And I remember seeing somebody refer to her as Aunt Jackie at one point in time. And I'm like, I've never heard anyone refer to that. But I think she started going by Jake probably when she was working in the police force because she was a female. Yeah,
so she didn't get a hard time.
Yeah. And I've never heard that story, but thinking on it, I'm like, I'm wondering if that's the, like how that came about.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always loved her stories because she'd always tell me about how she had to take like the crazy ladies to the loony bin. That was primarily what she did. She would have to drive people to the psych ward.
That'd be wild to be the first female police officer like in that town. That had to be hard.
Well, and my grandfather was the police chief too at one point. So like, I don't know if he had anything to do with it. I don't know the whole story. Like, I would love to know it. She's gone at this point, but like, that's cool. Like to know that she's this strong woman. Now on the reverse of it, I unfortunately had to witness her getting dementia. So she went from this very strong woman to somebody who wasn't, and it was very heartbreaking, but
they kind of die twice. Not kind of.
Yeah.
It's, like
it's so sad.
You grieve them twice.
It's so sad.
That's
but it was cool having her at least to show you can do some things. Cause you weren't, again, women haven't always had that luxury. So it was kind of cool to see that.
Not at all.
So,
and with daughters, I'm glad they do.
Yeah, it's nice now to see it, and it's still crazy to me that my child got told not to do a job by a man recently in college, and that pisses me off. But
it's wild
because she's a girl.
It's still, I mean, it's just wild that there are still people out there that think like that. That blows my.
How old was that guy?
I don't know. I have no.
We encountered racism this weekend in Florida. Ashley and I were just talking to this couple, and she made two comments, and Ashley and I both looked at each other, and we just shut our fucking conversation down immediately. We're like, we're good. Like, we don't need to talk to you anymore. And it was like that backdoor racism, like that, you know what I mean? And it just blows my mind that we're in 2023 and people are sexist and racist and like, really?
Yeah.
Like, there's no, you could say ignorance in the 60s, right? Because people didn't know any better. There was ignorance in it, right? Like, not that I'm justifying it, obviously, right? But we're in 2023. Like, there has been enough things that happened in our time frame in our life that can show you that there's no place for it, right? Like, there's no excuse for it. It just blows my mind. I just can't believe it.
Well, at this point, you're choosing ignorance.
Yeah, you're choosing it. Yeah, exactly.
I feel it on a, I don't want to say daily basis, but yeah, honestly, it's probably a daily basis. And I used to, it's not that, but that's exactly what it is. And now that I'm older, I have zero tolerance for it. Like, there was a guy, where was I at? I was at Lowe's, and he started in on some bullshit, and I pretty much said, I'm black. I just looked at him. I'm like, I don't look, maybe I don't look it, but I'm black. My father's darker than, my father was dark, real dark.
Right.
I'm over it now. I'm
Yeah.
over it when I feel it, I either try to shut it down or, walk the other direction if it's really annoying.
I remember I was pregnant with Alyssa, and I was in Walmart one time buying a oil filter. I've known how to change the oil in my car since I was a teenager because I didn't have a dad around, so somebody had to do it. And I had a man stand there and look at me and goes, "I'm really surprised you even know how to find the oil filter." I'm like, "You've got to be fine." And I'm very pregnant, and I wanted to rip into this guy, but his daughter was standing there, and I'm like, "That's the example you're setting for your kid."
Yeah.
Like, that's
Women
sad.
can't do it. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, and so I'm different circumstances for
It's the same
between
thing,
the two
though.
of us, but it's the
same
same thing. Like, you are just like, I'm not tolerating this behavior.
In our area, I mean, I hate to say it about our area, but our area is just, it's deep-rooted, quiet racism. It's not the in-your-face necessarily like,
The South.
yeah, it's not like the South where it's really, really vocal. But it's quiet.
I find
which
it.
I feel like is worse. I'd rather know I'm dealing with a racist.
If it's just racist, just
yeah.
come out and be like, "Hey, I don't like you because you're black." Cool, right? Like, but
But here it's a quiet type.
quiet type. Yeah.
What I find fascinating here, and I'm saying this about Lebanon, my grandfather, that was the police chief in Chatham, Massachusetts, he was first generation American. Okay, his family immigrated to Lebanon because the steel, right? That's where they worked. They went. I mean, I don't know if that's why. There was probably lots of reasons why, but they ended up in Lebanon. So it was a large immigration population. If you look back at the history, it was like Germans, Italians, like it was.
Yeah.
The people in Lebanon now complain about the Puerto Ricans, and it pisses me off because I'm like, your family immigrated here
Yep.
2 generations ago, and now you're bitching because our Puerto Rican population has gotten bigger.
So my grandfather, Mike DeLeo, was first generation American. His family came from Sicily, came on the boat. And he was telling me stories when he was a kid here, and he had to fight every day.
Oh,
he
yeah.
was,
Italians. People
Oh,
hated
yeah.
Italians. in this
Dago,
area.
WAP,
Yeah.
whatever. They every day, all day. And
Yeah.
he would always say to me he used to pull me in the walk-in closet. That's where we had our conversations.
Wow.
I don't know why, but that's where we would have next to all his guns and police stuff
Oh,
was in there.
Wow.
It's like, Corey, he's like, we're very similar, you and I. He's
Yeah.
like, the difference is I realized that these people, talking about the racists and the people he's dealing with, he's like, I want to be better than them. And he's like, and I want to be their boss.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's why I went to school. That's why I did what I did.
Yeah.
So that I could be calling the shots, whether they like me or not.
Right.
So he just passed away, but I respect him in that,
Right.
the way he worked himself from being called names every day.
Yeah.
He told me a story where how they used to have those wash line props with their big long wooden sticks you'd put under the wash line.
Oh, yeah. I do remember those. Oh,
So
wow.
These
That's
two
crazy.
kids came in and were calling him names in his backyard, and he took that and he started beating the crap out of them, like spinning around with it and hitting them in the head, and it just.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But
Damn,
it's
that's a
been going on forever.
throwback. You just made me think about
You
it.
forgot
I used to
about
do,
those, right?
yeah.
Used to put
'Cause-
those
and then
suckers
the
in there.
clothespins, like, and the weird little clothespins, because I used to help my mom do laundry.
Yep.
And
Everything got hung
Damn,
outside.
I forgot about those. That's wild. That's funny. Damn.
We're
I used
old.
to hate.
old.
I used to hate
old.
hanging laundry.
Anyway, sorry to take that conversation a
Yeah,
different
well,
route. but
that's what
No, I mean,
Yeah.
we kind of went all over the place.
it's just, I
in
think
this
too, like just the
conversation.
frustration, is
It all
being
ties back to being fearless.
being a
honestly.
white man too, and like people feeling comfortable with having those conversations with you is whack. The amount of people that are comfortable because they see me and they think that I'm just going to be feeling the same type of way as they are and have that
Yeah.
conversation, and I'm just like, shut the fuck up, you're stupid.
You're not my type.
Not my
No
people.
way. Not my
Stock
people.
option.
Okay.
Ken has
so-
the fearlessness to hit the button.
That brought it back. That brought it back around.
Ken has the fearlessness to hit the button.
Yes, he does.
If you could give advice to anyone today about taking risks and being fearless, what advice would you give them?
Don't listen to anyone. Just do it. And if you fail, you fail.
What works for someone else and what doesn't work for somebody else doesn't mean it's going to work that way for you.
Yep, I like that. Trust your gut. I'm gonna do whatever you think is best for yourself.
Yeah.
That's what I always tell people.
And
is-
if you want to try it, what's the worst that could happen is it doesn't work. And if it doesn't work,
Right.
go back to doing what you were doing. But you're never going to have the regret of saying I didn't try.
Right.
Elon Musk just blew up a multi-million-dollar
$1 billion,
rocket or whatever it will
yeah.
cost, And he's like, okay, cool. Well, we figured something. It was like a success for him.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so think about that. Like, we have all the little small problems that you have, and then he's blowing up $1 million rockets, and he's like, it was a success.
That's crazy about his, like, if you ever listen to his story back in like 2008 when the economy was like tanking, and he just started like Tesla and SpaceX. And I think he said he had $30 million left from PayPal, the sale or whatever. And he's like, I could put all of it into one company and one of the companies would die for sure. And it still may not work for the company I put it into, or I could put half of it into each and they both might die. And he's like, I couldn't come to grips with letting one go. And he took the rest of his money that he had and put it into both. And they did. Yeah. But I mean, the mentality, right? Most people wouldn't do that if they had that kind of money to put all of it into two companies that, you know, statistically shouldn't succeed, right?
Yeah, that's wild.
An electric car company, and a space company.
Yeah.
So he's different.
Space
too,
company. He is different.
Yeah.
He's like not even real.
Maybe he is.
He's an alien.
He is. I swear he's not
Maybe
real.
he's
It's
AI.
like weird.
I just like space company. I want to have a space company.
Just a giant space. It could just be a giant space.
No, I want to be in space.
Iron Valley, Mars.
We're shooting for that. We're shooting for the stars.
Then we really can
Iron
be the
Valley,
mothership.
Mars. We could be, dude. Yes.
And we could be Martian.
We
could
need
have-
to have like a space
we
station.
could have the
and we call it the
You know how
mothership.
cool that would be? We should just get the money together and go to the moon and put an Iron Valley flag. We'd be the first real estate company
On the
in the
moon.
moon. On the moon.
Then we really
How much
be
would
the
that
moon.
cost us?
Probably a lot.
Yeah. Sorry, everybody, your transaction fee's going up so we can go to the moon.
We want to build our space station.
Yeah, we're going to have to charging a franchise fee, too. There's going to have to be a 10% franchise fee off the GCI so that we can go to the
It's
moon.
a moon fee. We'll call it that.
We'll call it the moon fee. Iron Valley to the moon.
Oh my gosh.
Or
Could you
Mars.
imagine?
Yeah. Oh my God.
I would do that. I would
Wow.
so do that. Like if you had the
Maybe-
opportunity to go to a different
space?
planet,
Yeah.
and like start over in a
And
far,
die.
far off galaxy.
We go there and die
I'm just going to stay on Earth. I'm cool with it.
I'm good being an Earthling.
until all the resources are used up and we're all.
Well, if some of y'all
frying
leave and go
anyway.
to space, then maybe our resources will be better.
See you, Adam.
I think we're good.
I think you should try to fly your plane there.
Yeah,
That'd be wild.
I'll
Might work.
try.
Might work.
The little plane that
If you
could.
don't try it, you don't know.
It'll
I
go to
mean, I personally think
16,000
we should
feet and won't go
probably
anymore.
get, our personal plane before we go to the moon. But
Okay.
just because it would be cheaper.
We can afford a
maybe.
hot air balloon.
A hot air
Yeah, we'll get a hot air
Oh,
balloon.
we take the hot air balloon up. I'm in.
Be our
That thing is
advertising.
badass. I'm sorry.
everywhere.
I'm excited.
It is
about that.
cool. It's pretty wild.
I don't know.
What's next?
I mean, I got nothing unless you want to do
Thought
a
we
game.
have a game.
We can do
what
a
is
game, but
Story of my life.
yeah.
Story of my life.
I have
Sorry.
this book. It's called The Story of Your Life, and you're supposed to answer questions, but I already asked one of them, so that's not even really good. Do you have any objects from your childhood still? What is it? What do you have from your childhood?
Garbage pail kids.
Do you really? You could probably sell those for money.
I collect weird stuff. I have like garbage pail kids. I have, remember boglins?
No.
The little things, creatures you put on your hands. I have
Oh,
boglins.
Oh, like, and you could have
they
like
were like
puppet
in
shows
cages.
or whatever.
They were in
Oh.
cages.
I
and you
remember
would
that.
Buy them
Yeah.
and save them. What else do I have?
I had Matchbox cars, but I gave them to my son.
Yeah.
Micro machines. I have micro machines.
Oh, I remember micro
Oh, I remember
machines.
those. They were little.
I have an Atari. I have my favorite Atari 2600 game still, Joust.
Nice.
Do you?
I remember Joust.
Yeah, I still have
remember
it. I still have that.
You just can't play it.
Can't play it.
Listen, Atari was cool. I don't care. Space Invaders.
It really wasn't.
I loved it.
But it was.
When I was a
But it
kid, that was
was.
like,
Space Invaders was the game.
Yeah.
For sure.
man,
That
it's
was the
wild.
game.
I think, and then Game Boy came out, and that was like, whoa. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else I have.
Nintendo.
That's it.
No, you don't have anything else. Adam, you got anything good from your
I don't
childhood?
think so.
Trying to think of the name.
I've been buying, like, because I like spending money on stupid shit, but like 80s and 90s toys, early 80s stuff that we had when we were kids.
You know, one day when you're older,
Yep.
your kids are going to go, why'd you buy all this shit? None of
Now
us
we have to
want
get rid
it.
of it.
Now we have to get rid of it. 'Cause
Keone's already claimed most of the stuff, the toys and stuff like that.
It's crazy.
So I had I forget the name of the Western show or whatever, the lunchbox, like the old school lunchboxes like kids had in the 60s
Lone Ranger?
or 70s. No, I can't.
The Western show.
Bonanza, yeah.
Bonanza.
that's it,
Oh, yeah.
You still have
that
it?
what's his name?
The
It
lunchbox.
was a Western guy.
Damn.
I don't know.
I had an ET lunchbox.
Yeah, Bonanza. I had. I think I still have that lunchbox.
Are you
I
serious?
think.
wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty
I
cool.
had an ET one.
I think it might
I
have
had
been
Dukes
my
of
dad's, to
Hazzard.
be
I think I
Did you
had
go to
Dukes of
Harding?
Hazzard or something. No, I went to Northwest.
We used to break dance on the playground of Harding too. We'd bring out a boom box and we would literally break dance.
Box.
Northwest was like the worst elementary school in the district when I went there. It was weird because we had the web, and it was all the city kids because it was on North 9th Street. So it was like, it's like weird.
Harding was pretty.
Harding?
It was. I mean, it was all city kids.
Yeah. Northwest was a mess.
But Northwest was the worst one. If you.
Yeah, I loved it though. It's fun.
Do you remember
1963 metal lunchbox bonanza?
That's way older than
Why
all
would
of
you have
us.
had that?
I think it was my dad.
Are you
I
serious?
think so.
That's wild.
Because Adam likes.
I
old
miss
things.
Lunchbox. Man, well, there's a lot of things that are bringing me back right now to my childhood. That prop for that you talked about. Now the Lunchbox.
Did you have
crazy.
the Reebok pumps when you
I had
were a
pumps.
kid?
Oh, of course we
And I had
pumps.
the David Robinsons too. Nike came out with a pump on the side. The David Robinsons, I had
remember
those. You know what's crazy is they just came out with the Andre Agassi's I had when I was a kid. They brought them back. They're bringing them all back. The Bo Jacksons I had when I was a kid. The pumps are back out. The Andre Agassi's are back out. It's
The
wild.
Jordans you just bought too, I think that was one of the first pairs that I ever had.
Oh, the ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have the ones right now.
Do you remember your first Halloween costume?
Nah.
Did you have the Halloween?
The weird ones
The weird ones that we.
with like the plastic
I
face.
think
That
I
would
was
always rip. It would always
Yeah,
rip.
yeah. The band would always rip.
And the
Oh my
plastic
God.
things would rip off the back right away.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
terrible when we were kids. We didn't have any of that nice shit they have now.
No. I remember being Wonder Woman. What were the things
Me
you
too.
underoos? Was it underoos that you had as kids? Do you remember
Underoos.
those? Underoos.
I remember underoos.
I remember
Yeah.
kangaroos, the sneakers that you could put the coin
Oh,
in the
yeah.
tongues.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I remember those.
Z Cavaricis.
Oh man,
Those-
I used
yeah.
to. So
BK
my,
nights.
My mom, she used to call me the purple grape, but I had all purple Z Cavarici. You know how
Barney?
everything was big.
Yeah.
Bro, everything was way too big for me. And she's like, "You're walking down the street, your pants are falling off your rear end." I was wearing Carl Kanai,
I
purple,
remember Kanai. I had a bunch
purple
of
Carl
Kanai.
Kanai shoes with the metal plates on them.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And then the all purple suit with the cross colors,
I had
multicolored
cross colors,
shirt,
too.
and the hat.
The
all,
cro-
you
Do
know,
you,
remember
you
the
ever have
cross
the
colors?
Jankos?
I wore
Yeah.
Jenkos. Yeah, of course I wore
man,
Jenkos.
Oh, you
those were
definitely
like-
wore
I wore
Jenkos.
Jenkos
I
like
wore
crazy.
I had the Airwalk shoes.
Remember Chess
Airwalks?
King?
Oh yeah,
That's where we got all that stuff.
Yeah,
I
I
got
forgot-
cross
I
colors
forgot
there.
about
The
that.
Jenkos. That was Park
Yeah,
City.
That was.
Chess
I
King.
remember that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hypercolor. Did you have hypercolor?
I had
I had
hypercolors.
hypercolor too.
Yep.
Yeah, those were
The shirts.
when you were in like middle school, and when I was in middle school, we all wore Umbros. Like that was the
Oh,
thing.
Oh,
Umbros
yeah,
was big
And
for
remember
us.
the socks?
Uh-huh.
You'd wear like 74 pairs of socks. So
Yeah.
that they would be up to here. Like, what
Yeah.
the hell was the point
We
of
did
that?
some
I don't
dumb
know.
stuff.
Did you have a perm, or was that was a little before your time?
Is that
You're
a-
black, bro.
Because you're black.
And I got curly hair.
Everybody had all the dudes had perms in the 70s.
Black dudes don't
didn't
No.
perm their hair.
they? Oh.
We didn't have perms. Nobody had
Really?
perms.
We were
when I was a
Well,
kid.
you
80s
were
and
a little
90s.
beyond it, but if you look at the 70s and stuff,
We had spiked hairs and rat tails
Oh
with
my
the railroad
God.
Rat
tracks.
tails.
With the railroad tracks on the
yeah,
side.
I remember those. yeah.
All the white kids had to comb over with the shaved side, like the skater kids.
Oh,
would
I
all
never
have
had that.
Like
Well,
the bowl
was
cut
kinda hood.
where it was shaved
But
and the
yeah.
hair hung
We had the big
I
hair.
remember that, yeah.
The
And the
big
feathered
night
hair.
hair.
Remember when I was like elementary
Oh,
school,
yeah.
you had like feathered hair.
Yeah.
Like it was like spiky, but like feathered or whatever.
Yeah.
I remember that too.
It was the big hair. I think
Yeah.
one of my pictures, the
perm?
big bangs.
What's up, big perm? I mean, big worm.
Big worm.
What's up, big worm?
That's great.
I was bald at that time. I shaved my head.
Did you?
Completely, yeah, completely bald.
It's interesting.
I don't know why.
I feel like we should bring in pictures from our childhood.
I don't know if I have
That'd be
much. I don't think I have very much.
I'd have to look. Not really sure.
I can show you some of my
I
ass when I
digress.
was really little, if you're interested.
What did you say?
Wow.
You know, like in the bathtub when
we're
you're
back.
a little kid.
We're
you
back
know?
to the bottom again.
Well, we're back to the bottom. If you're interested in
You're
seeing
bringing
what
us
my
full
butt looked-
circle.
We're
full circle to
full
the bottom.
circle back to the bottom.
Wow.
It all comes back to the bottom.
Oh man.
Only you.
Yeah, that was perfect. Thank you. Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I'll ask this one last question and then we'll be done for the day. What role did you play in your family dynamics?
The literal black sheep.
I didn't
Yeah.
have one.
Always something new, problem.
Always something.
Always in trouble.
Always.
I had no family dynamic.
Because you're an only child, right? Or no?
Yeah, it was just me and my mom. My mom worked
Yeah.
like 3 jobs. I had some nightmare babysitter experiences young, and then my mom just left me at home by myself. So I was like a latchkey kid from like 4th or 5th grade on.
Sir.
From 2 years old.
That was it. Like for real,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it was crazy.
I was a latchkey kid.
I was too.
I was throwing parties in
I think
elementary
everybody.
school.
I think we all were back then, dude.
You know
It
What
was
about
just a
you?
different
Your
time.
mom was at home or no? Or were you at home at that?
She
Yeah.
it was just her.
Yeah.
Basically full time.
we were just talking. So we just had somebody I went to school with that passed away, and I was with some ASMR.
You hungry?
And I was with we were with some guys, and a couple of the guys who were hanging out with I knew since elementary school, like since kindergarten, right?
Yeah.
And they were like, dude, you used to throw parties, and I threw parties in elementary school. So before school and after school, my mom wouldn't be home. So literally, I'd be like, yo, and I lived right at Caddy Corner from Northwest, right on North 9th, and I'm like, yo, let's go to my house. I would throw parties, like literal parties. There'd be like 10, 15 people in my mom's apartment, which was, I lived in a 3-room apartment.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the size of like our training room probably
Right.
or something, right? And I used to throw parties. And they were like, dude, you were throwing parties. And then so they were like, and then you ran nightclubs. That was kind of cool.
You're
But
always
I was always
parties.
throwing the parties, you know? Like I remember the one time we were talking, this is the last story, I'll shut up. But
You're fine.
we had a trip to the Philadelphia Zoo, right? And it got canceled because it was drizzling that morning. So we all flipped out and it was like 5th grade or something. And we were all like, yo, F this, da-da-da-da-da. We're going to Robert's house, or Cleeper. They called me Cleeper back then. So we literally, it was like 20 of us in my class that were in my house and skipped school. Like, and I think we got in trouble for it or something like that. Like they sent like a truant officer or something stupid. But yeah, we literally were like, we're not going to school if you don't take us to the zoo. Like, it's stupid. Like, what? So we just partied at my house.
Looking for any reason to get out of going to school.
Ate all the
really.
snacks. You know what I mean? But yeah, anyway.
I remember my first party at my house. I was in middle school, and my mom was working. She went to, she was going to visit somebody overnight, put it that way. And I invited all these people. And I'm young, bro. Like, I was young. I was probably in 6th grade, something like that. There's all these old heads coming from the city, like all these old. I'm living in Myerstown, bro. All my mom's jewelry was stolen.
Oh my
Stuff that
gosh.
was my great grandmother's.
Yeah.
I won't say names, but I'll tell you the name
Probably
then
know
after
them.
this. But you'll know who they are. So all my stuff was stolen. The couch was broken. The legs on my couch were broken off. People were smoking joints and then throwing the butts in my mom's dresser drawers.
What?
I couldn't control it, bro. They were all older than me, and I was
Yeah.
scared of these dudes. Like, they were like 20-year-olds in my house. I
Yeah.
was in 6th grade.
Oh, man.
Drank all of our alcohol. Next day, my mom comes home. I had sort of a big piece of my screen cut out because they were using it for a bowl. You know, the back. You know, when the screens were metal back in the day.
man.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. So my mom comes home, sits on the couch. I had it up on books. You know what I mean, to be the right height. As soon as she sat on it, the thing slid off and went boom, hit the floor.
Oh my God.
And then she's like, why am I finding these joints why are there beer cans in my drawers?
Wow.
Where's this jewelry? Yeah, it was bad. That was my first party. Didn't go well.
That didn't go well.
Did not go well at all.
Damn.
Learned a little lesson that day though.
Yeah. We had quite a few parties at my house because it was the safe place for most people to get away because my mom was working, not there. I'd have people that would show up and literally park their car in my driveway because they were so stoned out of their mind or drunk out of their mind. They were like, well, at least I know I won't get trouble for sleeping in my car in your driveway. And that's what they would do.
Well,
I never had thieves though, thank God, that I'm aware of it. So crazy latchkey kid stories.
Yes, sir. All right, we done? I think we should wrap it up.
I think
Later,
we should
y'all.
wrap it up.
All right, we out.
Peace out.
Thank y'all.
See you soon.
We'll see y'all soon.
Bye.